just let me know. But they show no vision. They say you found it, but she's still gonna hold on. They say you found it. Today, I want to talk to you the way I wish someone once talked to me. Because lately, I have been having these moments where I look at myself and think, wow, I really see myself right now. Like, not in a harsh way, not in a self critical way, but in a clear, gentle, almost quiet way where everything finally makes sense. It's like I'm finally reading the fine prints of my own life. And honestly, it's emotional because when you gain awareness, you also gain compassion for who you used to be. And I used to look back at certain choices and think, how could I have let that happen? How did I fall for that? Why did I stay? Why did I give so much? Now that I'm more conscious, I can look back and say, of course, you made that choice. You were lonely, you were hoping, you were soft, you believed in people, and you believed in the version of love that you wanted. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with that version of me because she was trying. She didn't know what I know today. And the thing is, awareness does that. It lets you understand the why instead of just looking at the what, you know? And if I'm being honest, I have made a lot of choices because of pain. And sometimes I make decisions like staying because I was afraid of starting over. And sometimes I accepted crumbs because I didn't want to be alone. Or sometimes I would ignore my own spirit because I would want someone so badly. Or I would rush into things because I wanted to prove to myself that I could be loved. And I mean, none of that makes me weak. It makes me human. Now I move differently. There's this version of me that I have been stepping into, and she feels peaceful. She feels grounded. She feels clear. She feels like she finally trusts herself. I'm at a point in my life where I don't make choices out of loneliness anymore. I don't move from fear. I don't respond from anxiety. And I don't chase anything that makes me feel unsure of myself. I choose from a place of peace now. A piece of I know who I am, and that changes the entire story. Because becoming her isn't about being healed all the way. It's not about pretending nothing hurts. It's not about having perfect boundaries or perfect confidence. Becoming her is about becoming conscious enough to pause and say, this doesn't feel safe, or this doesn't feel like me anymore. And becoming her is when you stop ignoring yourself and you stop abandoning yourself. When you stop negotiating your worth. When you stop choosing the same pain because it feels familiar. And you start choosing peace because you finally believe that you deserve it. And this new awareness, it softened me in a way I was not expecting. It slowed me down, it taught me patience, and it taught me how to actually listen to myself, not react, not panic, not reach for someone just to fill a moment. And if I'm being really honest, this is the first time in my life that I feel like I am truly connected to myself. Like I'm here, I'm present, I'm alive, aware. And that awareness is the reason I will never go back to the girl that made decisions from emptiness. I honor her, but I am not her anymore. All of this, it was just me sitting with myself, sitting in a room that finally feels peaceful. And that's when all of this hit me. And it's that I am not trying to be perfect anymore. I just want to genuinely be aware of what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and who I'm doing it for. Because there was so many time in my life where I made choices based on emotions, loneliness, wanting to be chosen, wanting something to finally work. And if I'm being honest, I used to call a lot of my past
decisions mistakes. But when I look back now, they weren't mistakes. They were choices made from the level of awareness I had at that moment. And that version of me, she wasn't dumb or naive. She wasn't even weak. She was just unaware. She was still learning herself. She was still trying to figure out what love felt like, what peace felt like, and what, she actually deserved. And now that I'm aware, everything changed. Because awareness is so different from regret. Awareness is when you stop judging your past self and you start understanding her. It's when you finally recognize the patterns that you kept repeating, not to punish yourself, but just so you don't go back. Awareness is when you actually slow down to hear your own spirit and listen to your spirit. And that humbled me. It made me kinder to myself. It made me more intentional about the people that I let in. There were times where I confused attention with intention. Times I held on to attention or things that weren't consistent, or I kept someone around because I didn't want to be alone, or times where I ignored the tension in my chest because I wanted the fantasy in my head. But that girl was trying. And I love her for that. She was doing the best that she could. But now, I'm different. I think before I choose, and I listen to how my body reacts to certain things or people. And I pay attention to what people show me, not what they say. I move slower and I move wiser. And I'm definitely moving softer. I am no longer making choices out of loneliness or being on edge or anxious. Okay? I am not even unsure of myself. No, I will not be. I choose from peace and clarity. And I choose from a place from I know who I am now. I'm no longer settling for potential, and I'm not going to settle for maybes. I'm not going to keep being the one that is trying to fix something that I didn't break. I am no longer betraying myself. Okay. And becoming her isn't about having a perfect life or being healed in every area of your life or pretending everything is okay. Becoming her is about being conscious. It's about emotionally present, and it's about understanding why you did what you did and choosing differently now that you know better. So, if you're watching this and you're in this phase where you're waking up to yourself and you're seeing your own patterns clearly, where you're recognizing cycles that you don't want to repeat, I just want you to know you're not behind and you're not lonely. You're not here alone. We're in this together. Okay, you're not broken. You're now conscious. And once you become conscious, you cannot go back. You cannot unsee your worth. You can't unlearn your lessons. You can't unfeel that peace when you walk away from something that does not align with you. Yeah? You're aligning. The peace there. When you walk away from something that don't align with you, oh my God, that peace. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. And if you made it this far, big up yourself. Okay, and I'll see you guys in my next video.